book 4 of Musashi. But before we get into that, and book 4 is what?
Wind. Oh, sorry. Wind.
So, first book is?
Earth.
And that is regarding strategy. Then go ahead, list them down.
Or strategy if you're American.
Okay.
Right, then it's water, or water, as you quite aptly say.
But what is that? You gotta...
Attitude.
Because you have to have...
Attitude. Right.
The tude. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Third?
Fire.
And that is...
Fighting style.
Well, what's deep is fourth is actually...
Musashi's own style, and that is wind, or whatever you want to say.
Wind.
Yeah.
But go ahead. You take it.
Okay, so book 4, Musashi is talking about his own particular style. And as we mentioned before, Miyamoto Musashi, Japan's greatest ever swordsman, without question, developed a 2-sword fighting style.
Bodied 60 dudes. That's still amazing to me.
Yeah, yeah.
The cat bodied 60 dudes, and he's like, let me just write a book on how to kill cats. Like,
I'm just like, for those of you that aren't up to date with hip-hop vernacular or like slang, bodying 60 dudes and killing cats is not anything about animal cruelty.
It's putting bodies into the ground, and that's what Musashi did.
Yeah.
And at the age of 60, he decides to start writing about how he killed 60 cats.
Yeah.
Not cats, but humans. But
Yeah.
cats is street vernacular again. Hey, go ahead. I'm sorry, man. Go
So
ahead,
it's
take
his style, right? But the thing I want to focus on is, because it's his style, the main take home of this is be yourself.
That's
right.
His whole thing, man.
Which is interesting because basically, you know, he's taking you on this journey where you have to like not be yourself, because in the first book it's strategy and you have to learn about your environment.
Interesting.
Second book is water, and that's about the attitude that you take, but you're developing an attitude, right? It's not this idea that you kind of come born with this demeanor or whatever. So you're developing the spirit, right? The spirit that puts the strategy into action. And then fire is about the fighting spirit. It's basically raw, relentless, like, you know, you would dead somebody in their house. And when we spoke about fire as well, we spoke about this whole idea of how the minute that you see somebody moving into your space or acting in a certain way, then you should strike, right?
Yeah.
And when we relate that to business, it's like, you know, some companies wait too long for clear, obvious signs, and that's perhaps too late, man. You know, your company's already dead in the water, your product is already obsolete, you're already irrelevant. But, you know, when you see someone make a move, then you need to have a response. And the response to someone making a move is to strike.
Yeah.
Parry and strike maybe, but just definitely not block. Blocking is negative, right? So whilst it's considered a defense by most people, right, it's a negative form of defense, and it's just not the best way to do it, because you can't block and then attack. It's too slow, it's too clunky. Parrying or deflection is a better form of defense and attack, right? So in Wind, he's saying to be yourself. Now, I know that you like that Dr. Seuss. I'm not going to ask you to do it again, dear God, please no. Right?
I love it though.
You did it at a conference.
No, we did it in the last vlog.
I know, but before that, right? Before that, you did it in.
Did it at a conference.
No, you did it also in another event, and you're like, no, wait a minute. The only thing you can be is to be.
I jacked it up, and then I told the administrator, like, could you get it? And she like looked it up and read it. So she read it for me.
And then you did another speaking thing, and then you were like, it was like 5,000 people, and you're like, the only thing you can be is, and then it was like, I didn't know if you go like, the only thing we fear is fear itself. Who was that?
That's JFK, man. Come on,
you know about JFK? You know the thing, I don't know if it's true or not, but. Or was it Nixon that was the one that would always talk?
Always talk.
He was always very earnest in his speaking.
I don't know.
It was JFK that said that, but I remember, was it something like Nixon? I'm gonna get called out maybe that I got it wrong.
We'll put the caption at the bottom to correct.
I heard that he used to like be slightly desperate for a pee.
What does a pee mean?
He needed a wee, right?
Oh. For real? I don't know this.
He needed to urinate.
Okay, I get
right?
it. Yeah.
And the reason that he would keep himself in that state was that it would make him more earnest in his talking. It would have a certain amount of energy there. So he wouldn't just like sit back and kind of bore people to death. I don't know if that's true or not, but...
Dang.
Bit of trivia.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Sleep deprivation. I apologize. So being yourself, right? I want to.
Can I touch that? That's actually interesting about how he's saying to be yourself.
Yeah.
So he is like, you've got to learn strategy.
Yeah.
So he's teaching you.
Yeah.
And then after that, he's like, okay, now when the second one is, what's the second book?
Water.
And that is
water.
Yeah, and that
water.
is okay for a ninth time.
Attitude.
So it's like developing strategy,
attitude,
developing attitude, developing
unrelentless, sheer, unbridled fight.
And then after all
technique, basic application of technique.
And then with wind, he says,
be yourself.
Let it all come together and be natural. That's his whole thing throughout this book, is that you should be calm. When spontaneous attack occurs, you should be natural. Your eyes should never be fixed. You should always be able to see on the periphery. But yeah, and So
this is the thing that I was talking about before. Because
timing, understanding timing.
Yeah. So with fire, he said you need to make yourself seem larger than life.
Yeah.
And you need to be big, and big, bold movements, right? And it goes back to the thing that I said about Joe Hakut, which is big, smooth, faster, more powerful, right? It's in that order. That's important in developing martial arts technique.
Yeah.
Big technique, then smooth technique, and then like fast, powerful, strong, not the other way around, right? Because people with bad technique always try and be too fast and too powerful before their body's ready for that, before they can actually do big, smooth technique, right? So now that you've
always wins.
Now you've got the smoothness and the speed and the power in your technique, you can start to be yourself and go all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, you develop your own style, you become your own master to a certain extent, right? You've got your own lane, and you're a swordsman. Being yourself, though, is difficult.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about being yourself in the face of potential death, fear, threat, and all those things. And actually, do you know what it reminds me of? And maybe I've mentioned it before, but I like Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
Because like when you see him on the starting lineup and he would do all that stuff like in front of the camera and all those sorts of things, he changed the narrative. Because before, like if you'd see athletes going and doing the 100 meters, they'd line up and they would ignore the camera crew going past. They're like looking at the finishing line. They're pretending that no one is there. They're in the zone, right?
Yeah.
He was not in a zone in the way that we thought of it as sprinters doing it, right? He was engaging the camera. He's like saying, "Hi, mom," and "Me gonna do this," and all that kind of stuff, right? And that freaked people out because they were like, "Well, how are you able to basically be yourself in the ways like if we're like goofing around in the camera here, like there's no pressure here, there's no audience or any of that kind of stuff." So he was being his natural self.
He was winged.
Yeah, and that was unsettling, right?
Yeah.
And if you think like. You've met a fair few people, celebrities, famous people, like, people, like incredible people. I've met a couple of people. And to me, like, when you see like someone special, it's that they just are able to be themselves when everyone else is freaking out, right?
So let me tell this real quick story.
Go on then.
It was me, like 3 of these dudes, right? And my man got into a verbal altercation with, let's just say, an individual who you don't like. My man thought he could easily mop him, like could easily beat him up. And there's 4 of us. And I'm not gonna get into anything about the physicalities, but it's like my man can mop this dude, right? And there's 4 of us. And my man said, "You know what? Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's go." And the guy, he just said, "Let's go." Like he was so calm that it was uneasy. And my man's like, "Screw you, man." And then we walked off because the way he reacted was so calm. He wasn't unmoved. He wasn't phased. He was unmoved. He was unfazed, that you thought to yourself, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. So my man was like, "You know what, man? Screw you. Da-da-da-da." And then we walked out.
I heard a similar story from a friend of mine where it was kind of like someone like came to try on with him and he was like, same thing, offered him out for a fight. He's like, "Okay, wait a minute, let me just say a prayer." He's like, "Okay." The guy was like, "Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim," like, kind of like, "I know, Ya Allah, please let me knock this guy out." And then the guy was like, "On second thought," it's like.
So it's that unsettling when you've become the way.
Yeah.
Like with Usain Bolt, I'm gonna do my thing. Like I run. All y'all run, but I run.
And they know that you've got form because they've seen it before, so they know your credentials. Which is kind of like, see, the thing is, people use tricks. And Musashi is not about tricks, but
no, but I get it.
Sorry, tricks in the sense of like,
because he is about feigning,
right? Feigning, but not faking it.
That's true.
Right?
Well, feigning is the same as faking, right?
No, I mean, okay. Let me give you an example. Like, let's talk about musicians.
Okay.
Rock stars who don't have the swagger yet.
Yeah.
Or rappers, what's the first thing you do? You put on a pair of sunglasses, dark sunglasses, so people can't see the look in your eye, because eyes are a dead giveaway. Like, one of the things about swordsmanship is you can look someone straight in the eyes, and from the eyes you can see whether you've got it. Like, one of the people that I used to like looking at was early days Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
When he would look someone, like, he knew from when he looked, and people, if you look at some of the old footage, people wouldn't look him in the eyes, they'd like look down.
Yeah.
And you see it like animals, like, you see like dogs fighting, or like in the jungle or something, like the animal that looks at the other animal in the eye, and they wait for the eyes to drop. If the eyes are dropped, you know that you've got that person, unless they're feigning it. But you've got to be very good at feigning it, like I ain't bothered. Most people, it's like when the eyes, okay, right, you've lost that, you've lost the staring game, and it's not the kind of staring game, which is why rock stars put on sunglasses, because they don't want to show that they're nervous. Why people have a couple of vodkas, I don't know, snort some cocaine or something, because it's to take that shine off.
Yeah.
So that you've got that kind of, because Musashi talks about the kind of the look that's taking in everything and nothing at the same time, right? You've got like, it's like the 1,000-yard stare.
The 1,000-yard what?
It's like looking off. It's like looking into the.
Oh, the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, it's like looking into the mountains.
Thinking like the 1,000-yard stare, and I was like, I'm sorry.
Fine. No, but you just like looking off into the distance, right? It's literally like, I know you're there, but this is not that important, right? You're not fixed on anything. So I know I've kind of gone from rock stars to Mike Tyson to Usain Bolt, and then the samurai. Like, you probably don't know this, but like, in kendo we wear the this kind of face grill mask.
Yeah.
If you were to get one of them and take it off, on the inside of this metal aluminium grill thing, the bars are painted red.
Huh.
Now they're painted red because it goes.
But we don't see red.
No.
Okay, so from the outside we don't see red, but you see red.
You don't see anything because it's so close. But what it does is it reflects red onto your face. And if you look in the Hagakure, which is another samurai book, you talk about like some of the samurais would apply a little bit of rouge on their cheeks to make them not look pale-faced, right? Because one of the things is like when you're scared, when you're bricking it, right, the color goes out of your face. So to keep that redness, and then when people go angry, they go red in the face, right? So to keep the color in your cheeks, they applied rouge, or like this thing would reflects onto you. So
interesting.
In fencing, like in kendo now, it doesn't really give you a competitive advantage, but
when you're fighting to the death,
it goes back to a time when they used to take these things seriously. But then you see in a lot of warriors, it was the same. Like, I mean, look, you American footballers, you'd put that.
The black.
That's to stop the glare, but it's also
sun deflector.
But it's also war paint.
Yeah, it's war paint.
Putting kohol in your eyes to make your eyes like kind of fierce.
Yeah, no,
and you put it on the bottom of eyelids, right, and it makes you look like fierce. I mean, ladies would probably know better than guys, right? But like if you put eyeliner on the eye there, then your eye's looking fiercer than if you kind of put it underneath the eyelid or whatever.
You look a little different.
I'm going a bit too deep.
Yeah.
So people would.
Did you ever wear eyeliner?
Yeah. Whatever. Actually, you know what it was like.
Shall we edit this out?
No. After I took Shahada, I was one of those guys that would go to like the old bookstore and like get the.
Oh, can I have 9 bottles of Kuhu, please?
Yeah.
What do you need that much for, son? Don't worry about it.
but in the Middle East, I mean, this thing that I say to my students in London, like when they see.
Oh well, let me give you a definition. Kuhu is actually this. I forgot what it's made from. Kuhu. Do you know what it's?
I don't know. Or some concept you say surma, right?
So men, it's actually from the Sunnah, right? The ways of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And he would put it like right here, and it actually helps eyesight.
Helps eyesight, strengthens the eyes. And like if you're in the desert, it's supposed to, I don't know, it's supposed
increase.
to
It's supposed to increase your eyesight. Help
not
your
the stuff that's got lead in it and all that kind of
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, there is the lead stuff too that you're not supposed to buy. But that's cool.
But in the subcontinent as well, they would put it in kids' eyes, like not just Muslims, but like in Indians, Hindus, whatever. And they say it was to keep away the evil eye. I don't know how true that is.
Interesting.
Or whatever, but
okay, we're going way too much into the eye.
Yeah.
You can see that. What did RZA say? You can see the weakness of a man right through his iris.
You said iris.
Iris.
sorry, RZA.
Go ahead.
So you have to appear natural, and that requires practice in itself, I would argue. In order to, you can't just like turn up natural, like getting into that, whether that's stage one, getting into the zone, but getting into the fighting spirit and the fighting style, and to appear natural when everyone else is not, takes practice.
I can't remember, how does Floyd Mayweather look before his fights? I believe I'm gonna look after it, but I believe he looks normal. He's not doing some intense stare.
Not
he's
like
just,
WWF.
Yeah, he's not like, mad. He's not mad dogging. He's not like face screwing. He's just like, let's do this.
Right.
And okay, I'm sorry.
No. So that kind of, and that comes through confidence, self-belief,
training,
practice, experience, monotonous training. That you become yourself, and that's why, like, I think that people talk about an aura, right? So, like, if you look at animals, certain animals have an aura. Because they're just not afraid. It's I'm just gonna come here and I'm just gonna, like, you ain't gonna do nothing to me. And I think that one of the allures, one of the things that's attractive about celebrities, like the top celebrities or leaders or something, is that process or that exposure and experience then gives them this aura, which is kind of, which people find attractive, right?
Yeah.
And if you put that into a fighting context, then that's kind of like it's the opposite of attraction. It's like, it's a repulsion, because you're like,
because
I'm kind of feeling nervous now.
I'm scared.
No
and
fear.
He doesn't look scared at all.
Right.
And that was the thing about me and my three friends, and the guy was and the guy looked at us four and he said, okay, let's go. Like, how do you want to go outside and potentially get beat up by four guys? Unless you actually really, really know what you're doing and you're being natural.
Or you're high.
Yeah, that too. But
which is the same. Well,
he wasn't high. That's the thing. He just was. You could tell that he had a physique. Like, you could tell he was athletic, but nothing like, oh my God, this guy looks fearsome.
Because it's like when you go back to Drunken Man Style in Kung Fu, or even like, I don't know, back in the days, pub fights and that. Like, like for all of these gym bodies that kind of do martial arts and then think that they can take someone out, like, don't go up against a guy that's got nothing to lose, man. Seriously, like, he doesn't care about his looks, his clothes, like, work the next day getting fired. Literally, he's got nothing to lose and he's off his face. Rip you to pieces, man.
No, it's appearance does help. You look at Mike Tyson compared to the guys he was fighting at the time.
And Mike's like plain black shorts.
I know, no socks. He looked fearsome. But then the way that he looked compared to everyone, because everyone was like 6'5", 6'6". And how tall? He's like 5'10", 5'11".
Something like that,
And he was just built like a bulldog. He was just like this. And it's interesting because but then you see him, he's like a really funny guy. He's really like sweet. He has that lisp.
Did you ever watch his cartoon?
Yeah.
I watched it on the plane. It's totally surreal. Was it Mike Tyson Investigates or something? You have to check it out. There's like him, there's a Korean girl, there's like a ghost.
Yeah, and his thing with like, he loves pigeons. Anyways, this is not a Mike Tyson thing. Let's get back into Musashi and wind. Being natural. Go ahead.
So you have to be yourself. And this whole idea of wind and everything is like, you shouldn't overextend yourself as well. You shouldn't be running too far towards somebody.
That's what he said, right? Is that you shouldn't use more than necessary in terms of strength. And I think in the 48 Laws of Power, the book, that it's like, don't shoot past your mark. Just do what's necessary. Because once you do more, like what we used to say, like, you're doing too much. Just do enough.
But you still have to envelop and smother and suffocate your opponent, which goes back to the whole thing about sticking to your opponent like glue.
Yeah.
We mentioned that before, sticking some like glue, like, move like a shadow and suffocate your opponent's shadow. Like, once you're engaged, then you're engaged.
But what he means by that is knowing the intention. He says that when you are of the way, strategy, your timing is high, your ability is high. This is deep to me. Then he says, because of all of that, you shall know the intention of your enemy. Like, not what he's going to do, but his intention. And that's why some of Musashi's stuff is just really, really deep to me.
Yeah.
But it's just constant, like, living that. You know when they say you got to live, eat, drink, smell, whatever we're doing? That's what he did. To the point, like, and I always go back to this point that you said, don't you think that would have to be a very unnerving way for someone that's constantly on their P's and Q's, always thinking about security? And I initially said, yeah, it is. But then I thought to myself, it is for the people around them, like the family.
Yeah.
But not for that person, because it's become their natural way of life. And then you threw in the fact that, no, actually the women, their wives, also trained.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, I never thought about that.
But also, like, if we go back to business, right? People getting tired of martial arts and fighting and killing people and stuff, right? It's not like an OG's vlog.
I still remember that one vlog. I said, do you think, you still have the butterflies after your 20th kill? And you're like, no, you don't. No. He said, yeah, you do. And I was like, wait, you can't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Good salespeople, good key accounts managers, right? Like, they're intense and they're going to let a sale slip through their fingers, but they're not going to, like, play themselves. One of the things, like, my first kind of real job 20 years ago in advertising was advertising sales. And one of the first things that we were taught is, like, if someone says, how much is this advertising campaign? It's X amount of money, then go silent.
Yeah.
People tend to fill gaps, and those gaps can take you further away from it. So it's like, oh, it's £100,000. But I mean, if it's too expensive, then maybe we could discuss, or, like, just go silent. And if that silence is longer, do not punctuate that silence with irrelevant information. You made your play, you made your move. It's for that person to respond. And good salespeople have that confidence, and the fact that you could walk away. Like, I mean, like, even this watch.
Before you walk away, do the walk away.
Can I do the watch thing?
Okay.
Right. I bought this watch in KL. It took me 3 days to get it.
Pedaling Street?
Yeah. But I went into the store and I was like, I negotiated hard. Walked out the store, came back day 2. And this isn't like...
ABCD. Always be closing deals.
And I was like, phone up your boss. It was like, oh, he's not open yet. Well, when does Hong Kong open? Okay. But literally, I would have walked away.
Pedaling Street is actually Chinatown. I was just trying to throw a jab, but you didn't know.
No, I do know.
So you got this from Chinatown?
Wasn't there a massacre in Pedaling Street back in that? No, it's a historical place in KL.
Yeah, but that is probably like, what, $8?
Yeah. I got it out of a Christmas cracker. You know about crackers, right?
I don't even know. Wait, well, what is that, like a British? I don't even know what I'm laughing at. Wait, what's a Christmas cracker? What's a Christmas cracker? I don't know what a Christmas cracker is. We don't say anything.
Oh, let me guess. In America, a Christmas cracker is what? I don't know. A Caucasian person during a festive period celebrated by Christians?
I don't know what's a Christmas cracker?
Man, it's the thing that you pull. It's got like, it's like pinched at either end, and it's got like a little paper hat in it and a joke. And like a toy, and you pull the Christmas dinner?
No, we don't have this in America. What is that? Or we might, but I'm going to have to look this up. What's a Christmas cracker?
What do you do on Christmas Day?
We open gifts.
Do you eat turkey?
That's Thanksgiving.
So what do you have on Christmas Day?
We just eat food. Like, we don't... Thanksgiving is like turkey for us. Christmas, I guess you could have turkey, but it's not so much more about the food.
When you have turkey, do you have like cranberries?
Like, yeah, we have
red sauce.
Ours is like eggnog, mistletoe. Like, we're into that stuff. We don't.
How can you have mistletoe on Thanksgiving?
No, for Christmas.
Oh,
but I'm saying for Thanksgiving,
do you kiss people under the mistletoe?
Yeah, that's it. But I'm saying for Christmas, Thanksgiving is more about the food. So I don't know what this Christmas cracker is. I'm laughing, and then your face was straight, and I go, okay, I might be laughing. What is a Christmas cracker?
Google it.
Okay, forget it. Okay, go ahead.
People now are watching this thinking like...
But I wanted to go back to the whole thing about being uncomfortable, but people fill in the gaps. there are sales teams that focus on actually, they say they actually time themselves during sales pitch in relation to the person that they're pitching to. And they try to lower their time every single time. And they've said, and some of the research I've seen, when sales teams speak very, very little, more deals are closed. Because what happens is that you're gathering information from your client. And when and this is another thing that I always teach in life, is that know how to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. So you have this uncomfortable situation where it's just dead air. How much does it cost? It costs $15,000. You know what happens? Because I've done this, and a person goes, "Oh, okay, well, and you're just quiet, and it gets them."
So when I did sales training, they were like, I think there were 6.
So be comfortable in uncomfortable
6
situations.
closing techniques, and the acronym was RAT-AID: rebound, alternative, trial, assumptive, indirect, and direct.
Can you run them by real quick?
I'll give you. So direct is like, do you want to buy this?
Course,
yes or no? Right? Or do you want to buy this? Not yes or no, because no is giving them an option. Do you want to buy this? Inflection, meaning like question. But the one I like some of the ones like, say when people are trying on clothes in a store, right? And they've tried on 2 items, and then the salesperson goes, "So do you want the red one or the blue one?"
Yeah.
That's an assumptive close. You go quiet because they never actually said they wanted either of them, right? Let them speak. Or another assumptive one is kind of like they try, someone tries on like an item. You go, "So shall I take this down to the till?" No.
Till, what does till mean?
So checkout, right? Yeah, right.
To the Americans, what's the till?
It's the till. Like it's the plow. No. So, or I'm just going to take this down to the checkout. And you walk away, and that one's deep because the further you walk away, the less likely someone feels inclined to stop you.
Hey, stop.
I didn't say it.
You just see the person walk, and
you go like, but you tried it on and it fitted.
Yeah. It's funny because you're assuming it. You've pretty much made them commit without them committing. So you want the blue or the green one, or you pull out the contract and it's like, okay, so should we go 6 months or 1 year? And you're like,
And the cognitive dissonance is like, I'm feeling uncomfortable. So you want to close that gap, okay.
And like, that's where
you make it like, maybe I do want it, or like, but you tried it on and it fitted, and like that's the whole kind of ladder technique or the indirect. But I asked you if I could find you your size, would you be interested? And you said yes. So the size fits.
So this all ties into win and being natural.
Yeah.
So in all situations, comfortable or uncomfortable, you should always be comfortable.
Because if you're a salesperson and you're like too eager,
and
like
it's just
salivating, or like it'd be like if salespeople salivate, but people are like, I must be a chump. I must be paying more than everyone else, or you must not get many sales. So like, what's up with this? Like, I'm getting played here. Whereas if you're like,
it's just very,
But if you were too nonchalant, it's like, you don't want my business.
Yeah.
If you were even more nonchalant, it's like, you're arrogant. Like, But sometimes, like in the luxury sector, that kind of works for some brands where they kind of have that air of like, and
another thing that just comes in terms of business is like, or in life, never be scared to ask. Like,
would you like me to kill you now?
No.
Like,
I'm just saying, like, when you're at the till, when you're at the cashier, and the person goes, "Would you like to donate $1 to the local orphanage?" You know how many times, like, when a salesperson has sold me something at the point of sale, and they go, "Oh, would you like to donate to?" And it's funny. I go, "Oh yeah, okay."
That's better than not asking. But then an even better way of like, "Would you?" is giving them the option to say no.
Okay.
Other ways, I guess, would be, top of my head, would be like, so what our customers tend to do is they donate. So,
Oh, okay. So you have them fall into the kind of, what do you call it? You want to not capitulate, but you want to be a part of the group. You don't want to be the outsider.
Yeah, that's also why marketers, like, you gotta hate marketers for this, but it's like, please tick if you do not wish to receive.
Yeah. Please tick if you do not want to have insurance and possibly die with nothing and lose all your money. You're like, let me just tick it and pay the $12 insurance. That it's always
no, don't tick it. But it's that kind of, it's reversing. That is turning the tables basically. So that people don't. You're suffocating them because they do not have options. You're reducing the time, the thinking time, the reaction time, so that they are left with little options, and everything is on your plate.
Yeah. So, you have anything else for wind, or is that all you got? For me,
wind, I think, is just a really interesting metaphor, because fire was the previous chapter. And people would think, like, wind is interesting, right? Because wind fans flames, right? If it's of a certain strength. But if you think about, like, like it was my birthday the other day or whatever it is, but, like, I used wind. I mean, I blew the candle. I didn't fart on it, but, like, but essentially it's wind that puts out the candle, right?
Hold on, can you turn that around? Hold on, what are you doing, Dr. Wilson? Oh, this is what we do in Britain. Why did you even bring that?
I remember when I was at university, I won't tell you who, but there's one guy.
Remember Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey? It was like in his dream where he was with that redheaded girl. Because remember, he wanted that redheaded girl so bad, and he did like a joke, and he's like, anyways, it was the blue flame.
I remember there's a guy in halls in first year who flatulated. You like using
what?
He farted. He lit his own flatulence and singed his trousers, his jeans. It was a blue flame. But then we knew that because methane tends to give, like, that. Yeah, that's what a degree in chemistry in Scotland is like, right?
Yeah, okay. Did you actually have a degree in chemistry? That's your degree, right?
Correct.
That's interesting. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, from like lighting farts. But the wind strength has different meanings, right? If the wind is too strong, then it just devastates.
Yeah, it kills the fire.
Kills the fire or crops. It rips things out of the ground, and
if the wind is not strong enough, then it's useless.
But then,
like in a room, for example, or a fan.
But sometimes a breeze, if you think about it in nature, like to pollinate, you need wind, or like to remove dust or stuff like that. Wind is interesting in the same way as I find water interesting. Like when you read the chapter, like people are kind of got with that analogy of water.
Yeah, in martial arts, water is always used.
But wind is also, I think, is one that's underused, right? Just that idea of almost like a free spirit. You just kind of exist and float around, and you're not bound by the elements in the same way, right? You exist above earth.
Yeah.
Right? You are above water. It's like you've raised your level, right? You're not. So it's like you've been on the ground and you've been in the water, and now you're being yourself. You've risen above all of those things. And water, we spoke about water also existing in a gaseous state. That's my kind of chemistry, boring.
Yeah.
So, but actually, there is a link, because you can see that water exists as a gas. I think that's interesting. And even if you think about it, how do you turn water into vapor? Heat.
Yeah, through boiling. Yeah.
Right, fire. I don't know if Musashi thought about it like that, but if you look at,
I wouldn't be surprised, because we were talking about
our own kind of exegesis, right? We said that from the earth you get the materials through which you can create fire, and water can put that fire out, or it can just not affect the fire. The balance between fire and water, if correct, can generate vapor.
Yeah.
And from vapor we have wind.
That's that chemistry. That's that chemistry right there.
Chemistry right there. Is that an apt place to finish? Or
I think that's pretty much all I had for wind.
Let's finish.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and we're signing out from Southeast Asia. Peace.